And I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. And what we're going to talk about today is discarding situations for declarer. Um, Sometimes we think about discarding problems for the defense, but today we're going to look at declarer's problems in discarding. And I'd actually like to start with a bidding problem here. So this hand here, South has opened one no trump. That's a weak no trump. And you're playing transfers. So you bid two hearts, which is a transfer to two spades. And the question is, what should North now rebid with this hand? So have a look at the North hand. And in a moment, here comes the first poll of the evening. And the question is, what do you think North should bid in response to two spades? Let's have a look at the results. And the most popular responses are four spades and three no trump, with a few votes for three spades, three clubs, and one person passed. So how do we show this hand? We've got a five card spade suit. So the way you should do that, if you have enough points for game, which we do here because we've got 14 points, um, is that we transfer to spades and then we should normally bid three no trump. So those of you who bid four spades or three spades are incorrect here. You show that you started with exactly five cards in the suit by transferring and then normally bidding three no trump. You can also on this hand rebid a second suit, here three clubs. And that would also suggest that you started with five spades and at least four clubs, and you're giving partner a choice of suits. However, um, that bidding a minor suit is not normally encouraged because generally speaking, you either want to be in four of a major or three no trump. And five clubs, even if you have a fit, is often a poor choice. Even if you make it, you may find out that people who bid and made three no trump will get a better score. So there are two possible bids here: three clubs or three no trump. And I know North, you've got a very distributional hand, but nonetheless, it's probably best to show that you started with exactly five spades by rebidding three no trump. And if you're not familiar with that, you can look at some of my handouts on my website, bridgeclass.co.uk, and I've got one there on a summary of transfer responses to one no trump. And it's this little table here that says if you have exactly five spades, and you're a strong hand, then the way you bid it is you go one no trump, two hearts, two spades, then three no trump. And that's showing exactly a five card suit, but your partner should go back to spades if they have three or more spades. But you're giving them the choice. You're saying, I've got exactly five. If you have three or more, we have an eight card or better fit in spades, and then you should go back to four spades. So do have a look at that if you gave the incorrect answer, really, of four spades on that one. And on this particular layout, looking at it from the South point of view, if your partner does transfer you to spades and then bids three no trump, you would then pass because you've only got two spades to go along with their five spades. If you'd had three or more spades, you would go back to four spades. But as it is, you play it in three no trump. So let's have a look at the play on this. West here leads the Jack of Hearts, and you can see that immediately you're having a bit of trouble in the heart suit. You're very weak there. Nonetheless, before we despair, I want you to count your top tricks. And in a moment, I'm going to launch the second poll. And the question is, how many top tricks do you think you have here? So that's tricks you can take right away as soon as you gain the lead. Um, Tricks you can take without giving up a trick. So count each suit one at a time And the second poll question is, how many top tricks do you have here? And the most popular response is 9, which was chosen by 73%, followed by 8, and one person said 10. So let's have a look at this and count our tricks. Well, in spades, although we've got quite a nice spade suit, we only have one top trick, the ace. We're missing the king. We don't have any heart top tricks. In fact, we're going to be very vulnerable in hearts. In diamonds, we should be able to make 3 tricks with the ace, king, queen. We're going to have to be careful about unblocking the diamonds to make sure that we take 3 tricks there. And in clubs, we should be able to make 5 tricks once we gain the lead. So we've got actually 9 top tricks on this one. And it's important to count those 9 tricks, because what's going to happen on this hand is that the opponents are going to start running the hearts. And when we do, we need to bear in mind where are our 9 top tricks and try and keep them and not discard to decrease that number of tricks. Now, there's a chance when they play the hearts here that they'll be able to take enough hearts to defeat us. In that case, there's nothing really we can do about that, but we have to hope that doesn't happen. And in fact, on what happens is, let's suppose we play the queen there, they take the king, they play the ace the second round, they play another heart, and we've got to find our first discard. And of course, once you've counted your 9 tricks and you know you're counting on 5 club tricks, you're going to discard a spade. And they play another heart, and of course we're going to play another spade on that, and we may as well play a spade from our hand too. So the opponents have been able to take the first 4 tricks, but thankfully that's all they've got. So now when we regain the lead, we'll be able to make the remaining 9 tricks and just make 3 no trump. Of course, if they lead a spade here, we're not going to risk any finesse because we've got 9 top tricks. All we're going to do is take the ace, and then we need to be a little bit careful. Whenever you have something like that singleton ace of diamonds, which is a blockage, it's a very good idea to get rid of that early, okay? And then we can take our other tricks. So we'll take our club tricks, maybe 2 club tricks, and then we just have to be a little bit careful. Before we go to dummy, we've got to take our last 2 diamond tricks. We can discard spades on that, of course, and we'll make the last 3 clubs and just make our 9 tricks there. So when this hand was played, some people played it in 4 spades and didn't make that, and some people played it in 3 no trump and didn't make that. But really, you should be able to make 3 no trump as long as you count your 9 tricks and realize you need to discard your spades rather than your clubs. Let's try another one. This was another one that was played a little while ago. And here you open 1 spade, your partner bids 2 clubs, and you rebid 2 spades. That shows a minimum hand with at least 5 spades. Your partner's obviously got a good hand because they go into Blackwood for no trump. You show your 2 aces and you end up in 6 spades. And the opponents lead the jack of clubs. And you can see your partner's got a very nice hand. He was always interested in a slam in spades. And what I'm going to do, ask you to do on this hand is 2 things. First of all, I'd like you to count how many top tricks you have here. So start off by counting your top tricks. And then the second part of the question is to think about how you're going to play this and think about how many tricks you expect to make playing in 6 spades. So I'll give you a moment to think about that. Count your top tricks and then work out how you're going to play this and how many tricks you hope to make playing in a 6 spade contract. So here comes the poll on that. Let's have a look at the responses. I find very interesting here. So for top tricks, the most popular answer was 10, followed by 12. And for how many tricks you expect to make, the most popular response was 12, followed by 13. So let's switch back and see what we think of it. Sorry, let me find the right screen. So let's count our top tricks. Normally, you do this anytime you're a no trump, and it can also be a good exercise to do at any other time as well. And let's start off at looking at the spades. Well, we have 10 spades between us and dummy, so the opponents have only got 3. So you're going to make all those spades. You're not going to lose any spades, and you have 5 top tricks in spades. In hearts, you have 2 top tricks. In diamonds, you have 2 top tricks. And in clubs, you have 3 top tricks. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, I agree with those of you who said you have 12 top tricks here. And those of you who said you think you have 10, I'd be very interested to hear why you thought that. Perhaps you didn't think you were necessarily going to make all those spades. But if you work it out, you can see no matter how they divide, even if they're 3-0, you can take all the spade tricks there. So you start off with 12 tricks. And in fact, when this hand was played, about half the people who played it in spades did make exactly 12 tricks. But it is possible to make 13 tricks because of the club suit. So if you look at the club suit, we've got the ace opposite the king and queen. So that means that when we play the clubs, we'll be able to discard. Okay, we'll be able to discard a loser from the south hand. So let's see what happens. Let's suppose we win that first trick with the ace. And let's start by drawing trumps. We draw 1 round there. We draw a second round. That's all the trumps gone. And now we're going to take our club tricks. We can take the queen. And the critical thing is coming up now, because as we play the king, we have to think about what to discard. And you could discard a heart or a diamond, but discarding a diamond doesn't save you a trick because you've always got that heart to lose unless you discard it. So if you think about your losers instead at this point, you can see you have a potential heart loser, but we're going to get rid of that by discarding it on this third round of clubs. Because we're not going to lose any diamonds because we can always ruff that one in dummy, the third round in dummy, and we're going to ruff the third round of hearts in our hand. So now, as long as you've discarded the right thing, we'll just ruff that heart, play the diamonds, and ruff the last diamond. And played that way, you'll make 13 tricks, which, as I said, a lot of people who played this didn't make 13 tricks. And I suspect perhaps they discarded the wrong thing on the third club. You can see that if you discard a diamond, it doesn't save you a trick. So you often need to think about your focus on your losers and figure out how to discard the right thing on that third club. Do interrupt me if you have any questions about this. Let's have a go at this one. This is, again, we're playing transfers, and we've opened a weak no trump, 12 to 14. My partner has bid 2 hearts, which is a transfer to spades. I bid 2 spades, and they pass. So we presume they have a weak hand with at least 5 spades. And the opponents lead the king of diamonds. And what we're going to do here is start off by thinking about how many potential losers we have. And when you're playing transfers, you will normally find that the hand with the long trump suit is dummy and not your own. So you're going to count your potential losers from the point of view of the north hand, taking into account all the strength in the south hand. And the first part of the question is going to be, how many potential losers do you have? And once you've done that, the second part of the question is, let's suppose we win this first trick with the ace of diamonds. Which suit are you going to play next? So those are the two questions. How many potential losers do you have? And when you win this first trick with the ace of diamonds, which suit are you going to play next? Give you a minute to think about that. Look at the results. And for the first part, nearly everyone has said 6. And for the second part, most of you have said you should play hearts, followed by spades and diamonds. And sorry, let's have a look at this. Sorry, I wanted to go here. Well, let's think about our losers. Losers in spades are just 1. We're missing the ace. In hearts, we're going to count 1 loser. We've got the king, queen, jack opposite a doubleton there. So another loser there. We've got 2 diamond losers. And we've got 2 club losers. So we have, yes, 6 losers. I agree. So we need to avoid one of those losers. Now, how can we avoid one of those losers? Well, the only good chance seems to be to set up the heart suit. Because if we can set up the heart suit, we'll be able to discard a loser from the north hand on one of the hearts in the south hand. So that's going to be our plan, to play the hearts. Now, if we win this trick with the ace of diamonds, we should see that we're a bit vulnerable here, because if we do, let's say, the normal thing of drawing trumps, what's going to happen? The opponents will get in with their ace of spades, and they'll be able to cash 2 diamonds right away. And after taking 2 diamonds, they might well switch to a club, knock out our ace, and then when we play the hearts and they get in with their ace, they'll be able to cash the club. So we won't have a chance to do any discards on the 3rd round of hearts. So the way to make this is, yes, I agree with the majority of you. You need to delay drawing trumps here, because you need to play the hearts early on so that you can force out the ace while you still have that club stopper. So let's suppose we play a heart. We win that first trick if they let us win it. We play another heart. Let's suppose they take that one and they cash their diamonds as predicted. So they take 2 rounds of diamonds. And then let's suppose they switch to a club, and we will win that now with the ace. And we still can't draw trumps yet, because we want to cash that jack of hearts and discard a club loser on there. So that's how we're going to eliminate a loser, by hoping that we're able to cash this jack of hearts. And if we can get away with that, then we'll make our contract. Now we can draw trumps, and whatever happens when they get in, they can cash 1 club, but that's it. After that, we've just got trumps in the north hand, and we can make our 8 tricks that way. I'll just show you what happens if you play it slightly differently and if you try to draw trumps. So this is exactly the same hand. If you play a spade here, they can get in, they can cash 2 rounds of diamonds. They will then maybe switch to a club, force out your ace. You can now draw the remaining trumps, but at some point when you play the hearts, they'll be able to get in and they'll be able to cash the 2 club tricks, and you can't prevent that. After that, you're just going to be left with trumps in the north hand, but you'll only make 7 tricks there unless you can establish that heart in time. And it's a race, if you like, to set up that heart suit, and you don't have the luxury of being able to draw trumps. Finally, let's look at this one, which was the hand I sent out in this week's quiz. And here you open a spade, and there's a 2 diamond overcall. North your partner shows something like 10 to 12 points by jumping to 3 spades. And even though you're a minimum in terms of points, you've got 6 spades to go along with your partner's 4, and you've got a void. So I hope everyone will end up in 4 spades on this hand. And the opponents lead a diamond, and we're going to stop to make a plan here. And as is usual in a suit contract, we're going to think about how many potential losers we have. So let's have a look at it. In spades, we've got 10 trump, although we're missing the king, so we could lose to the king of spades. In hearts, we have two potential losers there. The queen and the 10 of hearts could both lose. And we have a number of club losers in our hand, although we're probably not going to lose more than two club tricks because we'll be able to ruff after two rounds of clubs. And as long as we've got two trump left in dummy, we'll be able to ruff the clubs. But nonetheless, we could lose two clubs as well as two hearts and one spade. But what we're going to do here is make use of the ace and king of diamonds, of course. And if they lead a diamond and we play the ace or the king, of course, once you see it, you can see that the way to make this contract is to find the right discard on the ace of diamonds and the king of diamonds, and that is to discard your two hearts. It's a mistake to discard a club here because that doesn't save you a trick. You're never going to lose more than two clubs, and discarding one or two clubs doesn't really help you. So don't be afraid to throw away the 10. And we're going to, on this hand, we're in dummy now. We might try the spade finesse. We might try leading the jack of spades. But on this occasion, the finesse fails. And let's suppose they switch to a club. Well, we might try the king here, hopefully in case West has got the ace. But the ace wins. They play a club back. So they've taken those two clubs. And they now play a heart. And now we can't afford to lose any more tricks here, but we can realize we've got the queen of hearts as a potential loser, but we'll be able to discard it at some point on the king of diamonds. So don't risk any finesse here. Go up with the ace. I think there's still a trump out, so we're going to draw that last trump. And then we're just going to ruff our clubs. We'll play our clubs. There are no more trumps out, so we can ruff there. Now we're going to cash our king of diamonds, discarding that queen of hearts, which was always a potential loser. And then we'll just ruff to get back to our hand and ruff that last club. So played that way, we should be able to make 10 tricks, regardless of the not very good distribution and the fact that the club finesse failed and the spade finesse failed. But it was important to discard the right thing on the ace and king of diamonds. And I hope you can see that that's two hearts and not clubs. So when you have a chance to think about what to discard, do give that some thought. All right. Anyone have any questions on that? We'll end the talk there. Anyone have any questions? I'll stop sharing my screen with you. Good. And if anyone needs a partner tonight, you can either join the game or you could, if you see someone there, you can speak up now and say you need a partner.